Salam everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a pregnancy trimester recap. So I'm gonna summarize my first trimester, my second trimester, and my third trimester, which is what I'm in now. Currently, alhamdulillah, 36 weeks with our little one. And I am nearing the end. So, wow, this pregnancy has been wild in terms of symptoms. I don't think there's a single thing that I didn't have this pregnancy. So let's discuss, because this is real life and there's probably a lot of you that have dealt with this too, or you're dealing with it now. And I'm here to tell you that you'll get through it with a lot of difficulty, but inshallah you'll get through it. So first trimester. So for the first few weeks, I would say up until about week 6, 7-ish, I didn't have any symptoms, and I was like, wow, this is awesome, because with all my other 3 pregnancies, with Amina, with Zainab, with Iman, I had severe morning sickness. Like, I was on diclectin. Diclectin is like the medication that you get from your doctor. I think it has B12 and antihistamine in it. I don't know what it's called in other countries, but that's what it's called in Canada. I had that upwards of like 4 times a day. Like, it was really bad. Nothing was working. And with me, I don't do the upchuck. Like, I don't throw up when I'm pregnant. I just gag a whole bunch, or I suffer like the nausea. So the thing is it's like a toss-up, because there's so many women that say that they feel better after they throw up, and I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't. I can't make myself do it. Mind you, I've also had acid reflux surgery in the past, so I can't physically throw up anyway. But it kind of makes it worse, because like when you can't, you're just like, the nausea just piles up and it gets worse. So I spent the first 3 months pretty much on the couch, and that's like all I could do. But alhamdulillah, I was able to eat. I was able to hold food down. Obviously, I was eating normally throughout the day. I was snacking. But nothing took the nausea away. Even the medication, like, I feel like it was kind of a waste to take it, but I feel like it was worse if I didn't take it, and it was just this like vicious cycle. So it was not fun. And then right when I was about to start my second trimester, I had a huge scare, and I ended up going to the Emerge probably 3 or 4 times, because I went into urinary retention. Scariest time of my life. It's really scary when you go to the bathroom and you can't go, like, at all. You can't pee. It was so scary, and I didn't know that was could be related to pregnancy. And I basically wore a catheter for days. I had to use intermittent catheters. It was scary. It was really, really scary. And that lasted for weeks. Like, it was not fun. The retention itself lasted for weeks. And the doctors couldn't tell me why. They had their theories. I was even in talks with the urinary specialists, and even they were confused as to what caused it. Surprisingly, diclectin actually has like a rare side effect of urinary retention. And to this day, we don't know if that was contributing to it, but I ended up seeing another OB that specializes in like urology. And I saw her months after I was already better. And mind you, it was between like 13 to like 17 weeks, around there. 13 to 16 weeks, I think, or something like that. 12 to 16, I don't know. In and around there, that's about how long it took for me to fully recover from it. And when I saw this specialist, because she's an OB and she's a urologist, like in one, not just a urologist, because the ones that I was seeing at the hospital only were urologists and they knew nothing about pregnancy. So even with all the ultrasounds and everything, they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so she saw me, took one look at me, and was like, you had, what did she call it? You had an introverted uterus. Or incapacitated uterus, or I don't know what the word was. Anyways, she explained it to me, and she basically said that the uterus, as the baby was growing, was blocking the urethra and the bladder. And as the baby grew bigger, it kind of popped out of its way, and then it made room again for the bladder and the urethra. So it was a bad situation. There was literally nothing that I could do in that moment because nobody told me that, but she did tell me that sometimes they put stents in there, like inside your uterus, to separate it from the bladder, and that would have been a solution. But guess what? Nobody told me that, and I suffered for weeks, and I was on antibiotics over and over again to prevent UTIs, and it was just not fun. So if that ever happens to you, please talk to an OB that specializes in urology, because that's what I wish I would have done right from the beginning. So that was definitely scary. Alhamdulillah, at that time, around 16 weeks, the nausea subsided. So I wasn't dealing with both of them at the same time, but yeah, not fun. So there's that too. In my third trimester, or before my third trimester, when does the third trimester start? I don't even know. It's like, honestly, like such a blur now, but alhamdulillah. Around 25 weeks, I want to say, I started getting severe pain in my pelvis. And it was so bad that I went to my midwife literally the day that it started, and I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even walk into the office. Like, I was limping. And they told me to go and see a pelvic floor physiotherapist, as well as a chiropractor and an osteopath, to see like if it was SPD. And lo and behold, it was SPD. So for those of you that don't know, it's called symphysis pubic dysfunction. I'll insert some kind of diagram here so you can understand what that means. But basically, when you're pregnant, you release hormones called relaxin and other hormones that help like relax the pelvis, make it easier for the baby to grow and to birth, obviously. And we don't know why it started this early, because every single professional that I saw, like the chiropractor, the physiotherapist, everybody, even my doctor, even my midwife, where our theory is that because I was pregnant twice in 1 year, because I had a loss earlier in the year, that my body already had so much relaxin in it that never really fully went away, and then I got pregnant again with this baby, and then my body just started releasing more, that it just opened things up way too quickly. Because normally SPD happens like late in your third trimester. Like, people usually get it after 35 weeks or 30 weeks, and I had it since 25 weeks. So my symptoms were extreme pain, still is, sorry, it hasn't gone away. Extreme pain in any kind of movement. I'm even like sitting in this chair and I'm like itching to get out of it because I'm in so much pain. So pain in the front, pain down where your joints are, like between where your legs meet your hips, pain in the back, pain in your low back, pain like behind your tailbone, like into your bum, like down your legs. Oh my God, SPD is the worst. It is the worst. And I've gone for so many treatments. I go for treatments every week. I see a chiropractor. I see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. I've seen an osteopath. I've done massage. I've done everything, and nothing seems to help it. And my midwife has literally just said that the solution is just to give birth and to get the baby out, and inshallah, my body will start to repair itself. So if you're dealing with SPD, I have some words of advice to make it not as excruciatingly painful. Number one, painkillers don't work. I tried taking Tylenol in the beginning and it didn't do anything for me. Number two, the only thing that seems to give me relief for like an hour is using like a topical pain relief cream, like A535 or something like that. Make sure that you clear that with your midwife first, or your OB before you use it. I use that if I have to go on a car ride. It's really painful to sit. It's really painful to lay down. It's really painful to do any kind of movement. And it's painful to walk. Basically, I've been stuck in my house for a really long time. The only time I leave is pretty much when I have to go to a doctor's appointment, or if it's to drop the kids off at gymnastics or any of their classes. So that's the only time that I leave the house, but I'm always in excruciating pain. So I can't even like drive. Like, Will won't even let me drive anymore, because when I move my foot, just the simple movement of moving your foot from gas to brake is like horrifically painful. So you can only imagine, like, SPD it literally feels like your pelvic bone is broken. Like, that's actually like how it feels like. feels like it's broken. So can't put pants on, can't put socks on, can't put shoes on by myself. I have to have someone help me. When I move from one side to the other in bed, like if I'm on my left side, I want to move to my right. It's a whole ordeal. Like it takes me a really long time to move. Piece of advice is to keep your legs together instead of separate when you're doing that. Doesn't get rid of the pain, but it makes it not as excruciatingly painful. And in terms of like sitting, if I do have to sit, usually I'll sit on my birth ball versus like a chair. And even that's so painful. Like I feel like everything that I do just hasn't worked, alhamdulillah, but it's a test. It's a test. And I'm dealing with it and just waiting, just counting the days, inshallah. I just pray that the birth will be easy and not too painful because of my lack of mobility, just not being able to move like I normally would be able to move. So don't take that for granted. Please do the exercises that your professionals give you. I do them every single day. It's supposed to help, but for me, it just doesn't seem to do much. Kind of just gives me like a temporary like release of pressure, but not release of pain. So it's been a really hard pregnancy, alhamdulillah, but I say alhamdulillah, like praise Allah, because I'm so grateful to be pregnant. And I know that there's so many people out there that are wishing that they could be pregnant. So I want to acknowledge that this hardship it's a blessing at the same time. So it's temporary, it's not gonna last forever, inshallah. And inshallah we get to meet our baby soon. So other than that, like emotionally, I've definitely struggled. I did another video titled Pregnancy After Loss. So definitely watch that one because I kind of go into detail about like how hard it was, especially in the beginning of this pregnancy, in terms of controlling my anxiety and just keeping myself in check and reminding myself that this pregnancy is not like my last, and to just feel blessed and be blessed and all those things. So I don't know, if you guys have dealt with any of these crazy symptoms, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read. Oh, another thing that I had was restless legs and like Charlie horses in my legs. And that started around my second, third trimester, but I cured that one. That was the one thing that I managed to get under control, and I do that by taking magnesium right before bed. So right before bed I take magnesium, and it helps relax the muscles in my legs so much. So definitely do that. It really, really helps with like those like leg cramps and stuff. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know in the comments what your craziest symptoms were in pregnancy. I love to read. I love to hear about other experiences. If you've dealt with SPD before, I am so sorry if you're dealing with it right now. I totally feel for you. Like, sometimes there's just nothing that you can do, but I want you to know that you're not alone and that this struggle will eventually come to a close, and you won't even remember it, because for all of my previous pregnancy, I had different symptoms and complications and things, and I would do it again and again, no matter how painful it was. So definitely keep that in mind. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys, and I'll see you next time.